some resentment on the part of some black women if black men are gay. That may sound messed up, but it's a dog-eat-dog world out there, and I just want to put that out there because you may never heard anybody say that to you, and I think it just needs to be said. Christianity and Prop 8, quick things. Jesus was really cool. That's why I like him. That's why I'm a Christian. He was a rebel. He was hated by people in power, by Jews and Romans alike. He was executed. He was all about profound love for people who weren't necessarily seen as so wonderful in society. Now think about what has happened to the perversion of Christianity. Some of the Christian dogma has been used against your community. But think about this. Christianity was used to legitimize slavery. Black people were seen as not having souls, as not being people who could go to heaven. I don't want to trash Mormons at all, but it's mine. I always get nervous when I go to Utah. And Kate, I'm really sorry, but you left. But my understanding is that up until recently, black people couldn't go to Mormon heaven. So this is the same group that has come after this community. Is it not true?
1976.
1976. It wasn't having the priesthood, two different things.
Okay, but we weren't full citizens, is that correct? We were not equal. Thank you. I knew I was taking a little risk there, and I knew y'all would correct me. And I could rely on you. But here's the other piece you need to know about Christians in general. My next door neighbors are fabulous. They had a big Obama sign on their yard. They're African American, but they also had a big Yes on 8 sign on their front yard. And we've argued over the years about gayness. And they said, well, you probably have gay friends. And I went, yeah. But here's what you need to know. And this is deep, and you need to take this in. You need to take what I'm going to say next in. There are people who believe that if you're gay, or if you have friends who are gay, you are going to hell. This may sound like you're going, what the hell are you talking about, so to speak? But there are people who believe you will go to hell. You've got to take that in. No rationality, no seeing gay families. Nobody's going to be willing to go to hell, okay? So one of the things we've got to do is get the progressive clergy involved, let people know that's just not right. But if your minister is standing up in front of you every Sunday saying, you will go to hell, there's nothing anyone in this room can do easily to turn that around. I was on a Christian radio show. Kate, you owe me for this. I was on a Christian radio show. They said, oh, it's only 10 minutes. It was an hour. It was hell. And the guy at the end told me, well, you have gay friends, so you're not a child of God. And usually I'm kind of cool. When I went off. I went, how dare you? You know, but he really believes, and he was putting out over the national airways, that even if you have a gay friend, you're not a child of God. That is a huge thing to get over. The people who believe it are not venal and evil. They're listening to their ministers. They think this is the Word of God. So when you're thinking about the black Christians, the Latino Christians, the Asian American Christians, the white Christians, the Native American Christians who voted for this, understand that, take it in. That's a huge thing to get over. I don't have a lot of time, and I had a lot to say, and here's the parts I all X'd out. I was going to tell you to get over yourselves about fighting with each other, but I thought that wouldn't be a good thing to say. And Andrea said something funny when I was giving her the title of the speech. She said, well, that may be controversial, and it may be dramatic, but I'm gay and I love drama, and y'all have certainly been wearing that. This has been some serious drama. On the campaign piece, make sure that you're not the circular firing squad. I've been in a lot of campaigns. I've won, I've lost. I've been in some bitter debriefings like this because you get mad. You have your heart and soul into it, and your rights are taken away. As a black person, I've seen rights taken away by the electorate. And you're walking down the street going, are you the one? Are you the one? And you just can't believe that someone just can't leave you alone and let you have your rights. So I know exactly how you feel. But things get better, and you can win, and you'll learn a lot of lessons from what went on. One quick point, and this is controversial, I don't mean to offend anybody, but you have to hire really good consultants, and you have to listen to them. But they also have to have checks from a very good steering committee. And what's difficult, and I've done this in other campaigns around race, you just want to stand up and say, bigotry and discrimination is wrong. That's it, game over. Doesn't necessarily work. You may want to use those arguments to your base, but you've got to listen to your pollsters and your focus group people to figure out what works with the persuadables. We did an election, and we wanted to talk, they were trying to eliminate discrimination laws. They were going to say you cannot collect racial data. And we wanted to say, well, that won't help, that will harm us in dealing with discrimination cases. That didn't work. We found out that what did work was by saying the failure to collect racial and ethnic data will result in bad health for white people. If you said that, seriously, the polling said if you say it will hurt people of color, people didn't care. That's the day I just wanted to quit and say, WTF, I'm out of here. I'm running my jazz club. These people are ridiculous. And so I know how you feel. When the arguments that are close to your heart don't move the electorate, it's very painful. You just want to say, forget it. We came back the next day and said, well, if that's what's going to work, that's what's going to work. So we found, no offense about what I'm going to say next, we found the whitest white person we could find who was not an albino and had them give the message. It was Dr. C. Everett Koop, basically saying, if you vote for this, you will die. We won. I've got to stop or they're going to get the hook and somebody's going to start yelling at me from the audience. That's all right, I'm used to it. But a couple of things. It's very important that we, and Baird Rustin, who was gay activist with Dr. King, he talked about something called the Grand Coalition. And it was a coalition that wasn't a silo-based coalition. It was race, women, labor, choice, LGBT, although I think back in the day, LGBT, we weren't invited to the party at that time, so it was very, very difficult. So, Baird Rustin's idea of the Grand Alliance, I think, is something we have to embrace right now as a movement. And it can't be just, okay, black folks, why didn't you vote for us? You've got to vote for us this time. It's got to be a two-way street. And you've got to support